Barcelona winning this game is not by accident, it's actually by design because you will see in this video a lot of things that was influenced by the players and as well as the coach. So make sure you watch it till the end, right? As always, do subscribe to the channel. It's going to help us a lot to get this family to grow bigger. We upload weekly Barcelona content, tactical content only. Let's start. Hansi Flick really did his homework because Benfica is a team that likes to play through the wings if they attack teams. And therefore, it was not Lamine and Rafinha that was initiating the press, ultimately leaving Lewandowski within the midfield. It was actually Lewandowski joining Rafinha because we saw that Lamine had to cover this fullback, and therefore Koundé and Balde was in no hurry to actually come. For an example, if Lamine is here, they would normally do this where they come forward, but it was Lamine that was covering that flank in order to create a little bit of balance. And they actually went out with a full-on press against this fullback and Otamendi. So it was good pressing from Robert Lewandowski and Lamine Yamal at the start of the first half. Now, I do think the reason why they did this in this game specifically as well is because of Barcelona's high line. When you play through the wings, the offsides are less likely to happen. But here we see that Robert Lewandowski was leading the press, which was good from Hansi Flick, and he's really showing his adaptability because a lot of people, especially ESPN, has been slamming Hansi Flick for his high line. But he did adapt, and Koundé could stay back because Lamine Yamal was covering the fullback in the build-up phase, with Robert Lewandowski also helping out really well in the press. Now, a lot of you guys were in awe with Pedri, Frenkie, Szczesny, and because they played a great game, we're going to get to all of them in a second. But me, I was jaw-dropped by this guy right here, Inigo Martinez. And I don't think we realized how important this guy was in this game, especially him linking up with Robert Lewandowski, because him being a left footer, when Barcelona was dropped to one side and the ball couldn't get out to Pedri, imagine a right-footed player playing in the space having to pass the ball to Balde. But Inigo, he was able to find the likes of Robert Lewandowski. He was able to play the ball long to Rafinha, playing the ball in here, and he opens up so many opportunities for Barcelona. And no wonder Hansi Flick picked him over Ronald Araujo, because Ronald Araujo is a great defensive player, but getting us out of these situations, I don't think Araujo would be able to do what Inigo Martinez was doing. The way he just found Robert Lewandowski, and it's really sad that Robert Lewandowski was under so much pressure. But how many times did Lewandowski release Pedri, and Pedri got in behind? How many times did he release Rafinha? And a lot of guys, you guys were slamming Flick online. I saw all of it, most of it actually. The comments of he shouldn't have taken Olmo off, right? He should take Lewandowski off. But this right here was just magnificent, and it's not getting the same amount of praise that Frenkie, Pedri and Szczesny is getting, but Inigo linking up with Lewandowski was super important for Barcelona. Then Paul Cubarsí got a red card. What a schoolboy mistake from him. Oh wait, he still is a schoolboy, right? However, I'm joking, guys. I don't think we realize the significance of this red card because the fact that we've won the game. However, because of that high line, our guys are now forced to lunge into tackles and large tackles and decisions and rash decisions that we have to make. And this is something that Hansi Flick really has to address, because Benfica could have been catastrophic for us, really. Right after the red card, we saw that Ronald Araujo came on for Dani Olmo, and boy, did the people not like that. They were screaming online, why didn't they take off Robert Lewandowski? And at first, I am going to have to be honest, I thought so as well. You see, when I saw what was happening, what Flick was trying to do, I understood what he was doing. Barcelona stopped building up from the back when the red card happened. And I think this was a good call from Flick, because that's just going to create a back and forward thing, because Benfica had confidence. If we would have played out from the back right from there, you would have seen them press, right? And you don't really build up if you have a man disadvantage, right? So what Flick did, the reason why he kept Lewandowski on was because of that long ball towards Lewandowski. He stole, and although this wasn't so successful most of the time, but the times he did get the ball off of Pedri, the Benfica was just too much, right? And he saved us a lot of energy. Imagine us having to build up with a man down. It's not going to be good. So it was a good call from Flick. Maybe he kept Lewandowski on for too long. I thought that it would have been great for Ferran Torres, right? But yeah, it was it was a good call to leave Lewandowski on, right? Because of that long ball, Barcelona stopped building up once Kubarsi got that red card. Now, I have to say, this defensive system with Robert Lewandowski was great, right? Now, let's see what Barcelona did when they got the red card, their defensive system. Now, Barcelona was defending in a 4-4-1 situation at times, depending on how you look at it. But there's something that happened with this defensive structure that a lot of us missed probably. Because Barcelona looked like they were defending in a 4-2-3 situation. Now, this is where when influence from the coach helps a lot, and experience as well, because that stopped Benfica from passing the ball into their double pivot, right? Because Rafinha and Lamine Yamal were so close. You know what ended up happening? They ended up being on each other's feet like that. So this was just a sensational move from Mr. Hansi Flick. Now, a lot of people might say that Benfica wasn't able to take advantage of this, but that was largely influence. So they had to keep on going through the wings. And when that happened, Barcelona would trap them, and then they would look to transition from there. So it's just masterful from Hansi Flick in this instance. Over here we see the 4-4-1 situation with Robert Lewandowski alone up front. And this actually helped Lewandowski because Barcelona wasn't pressing anymore, right? So he would just stay in position most of the time. But this is the interesting thing. Look at the front three of Barcelona and the double pivot. And look where the double pivot of Benfica is almost as center back. So that was just masterful. It made me smile when I saw it. And the moment that happened, they forced Benfica to go through the wings. And the moment they did that, Barcelona was onto them like a pack of dogs. I just want to give a special shout out to Frenkie de Jong and Pedri, because man, they didn't even look like they were a man down in the midfield. The way they were just bedazzling these players, you know, when they got the ball, when they were pressed, they would just simply get around these players, especially Pedri. He got in behind so many times. Now, I'm not going to lie, I was really disappointed when I didn't see Casado's name in this lineup. I'm not saying we should necessarily have replaced Frenkie, because I even think that Frenkie and Pedri should be each other's replacements because they are good at controlling the tempo. But just the fact that he's so good at dribbling, Frenkie de Jong, he complemented Pedri really well. If we stayed 11 against 11, I would have felt that Casado should have started because of the transitions. But when the red card happened, there was no transition football anymore because Benfica basically took over the game in terms of possession. Barcelona didn't have so much of it. But just the way these guys were able to move around and just be an attacking threat. That's why I feel like Robert Lewandowski was so important, because of that long ball, getting the ball into Frenkie de Jong. Because like I'm saying, we didn't even look like we were a man down. That is just how great these guys are. Shout out to Frenkie de Jong and shout out to Pedri. And while I'm talking about being sensational, how good was this fella right here? And I think since I'm giving out flowers, why don't we give this man a cigarette? Because he literally smoked last night, figuratively and physically. He was smoking, right? Because of that smoke behind him. And boy, oh boy, how good was he? And Flick, man, I do not think Barcelona winning was an accident. It was by design, because Flick is just sensational. Thank you very much for watching this video. I will see you in the next one, and subscribe as always.